the only winners here are the hackers. They probably got in, saw the mess of public school data, and thought, damn, they're already fucked, let's just dip. And let's talk about this hacker, 40 bitch. I mean, props for the name, right? It's almost like they're trolling Fortinet at this point. Of course, Fortinet's PR team is all over it, saying, no data encryption, no ransomware, nothing to see here, folks. Yeah, sure. Except for the fact that 440 gigabyte of your stuff is now on a hacking forum like it's a Black Friday sale for cybercriminals. And can we talk about those botnet names? R-login, A-login, X-login. It's like the botnet had a midlife crisis and decided to rebrand like some kind of Silicon Valley startup. What's next? We've added iLogin for your iPhone just because. Welcome to the security brief for week 37. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and share this news. To our first story, Highline Public Schools, one of Washington state's largest districts, has been forced to close all schools and cancel activities due to a major cyber attack that compromised its technology systems. The district, which serves over 17,500 students across 34 schools, was hit just before the start of the academic year, including kindergartners' first day of school. With all schools closed indefinitely, imagine 17,500 students, all ready to go back to school, only to find out that some hacker said, nah, I'ma ruin this for everyone. Genius. Back in the day, we had to fake an illness. And can we talk about how parents are now stuck with their kids 24/7 indefinitely? Little Timmy was supposed to learn the alphabet today, but instead, he's learning how to master Fortnite while his parents Google how to fake a power outage. Meanwhile, the teachers are probably out there doing shots of espresso trying to figure out how the hell they'll salvage this year. And the IT team? Oh, they're having the time of their lives explaining to a bunch of boomers why the Wi-Fi isn't the problem this time. Yes, the entire district's down, but go ahead and reboot your modem one more time, Cheryl. At this time, there is no information on the specific nature of the attack or the extent of the breach, but the district is committed to keeping the community informed as more details emerge. Honestly, the only winners here are the hackers. They probably got in, saw the mess of public school data, and thought, damn, they're already fucked, let's just dip. Moving on. A new evolution of the Quad7 botnet is targeting an expanded array of small office/home office SOHO devices with sophisticated custom malware. After previously compromising TP-Link and ASUS routers, the botnet is now infecting Zixel VPN appliances, Ruckus wireless routers, and Accentra media servers. Named by researcher G7W0RM, Quad7 initially focused on exploiting port 7777. According to cybersecurity firm Sequoia, Quad7 has launched new botnet clusters and adopted stealthier tactics. These include abandoning SOX proxies for more evasive KCP communication. And can we talk about those botnet names? R-login, A-login, X-login. It's like the botnet had a midlife crisis and decided to rebrand like some kind of Silicon Valley startup. What's next? We've added iLogin for your iPhone just because. Unless you're into your router becoming a zombie for some botnet, maybe update your firmware and change that default admin password. Or don't, just sit back and watch as Quad7 makes your SOHO device its personal plaything. Moving on, a ransomware gang known as NoName has escalated its attacks by deploying new malware tools under the name RansomHub. This gang, active for over 3 years, primarily targets small and medium-sized businesses across the globe. NoName's newest weapon is the Scransom Encryptor, a rapidly evolving malware that can devastate systems by encrypting files across fixed, removable, and remote drives. What makes NoName even more concerning is their recent affiliation with the RansomHub malware network, expanding their capabilities. Scransom, part of the malware family, has been engineered to be highly flexible, with multiple encryption speed modes and a destructive erase feature that makes recovery nearly impossible. It leverages both AES and RSA encryption techniques, making decryption a difficult and error-prone process, leaving victims struggling to regain their data, even after paying the ransom. If you're a small or medium business, patch your damn systems, update your software, and please change your password from password 123. Moving on, Microsoft's Patch Tuesday strikes again, like an annual reminder that your entire digital life is 1 day away from becoming a hacker's playground. A staggering 79 security flaws, including 4 zero-day vulnerabilities. Of these, 3 were actively exploited before patches became available. Among the most concerning vulnerabilities is CVE 2000-2438,014, which allows attackers to gain system-level privileges through the Windows installer. Another zero-day CVE 2000-2438,217 targets the Mark of the Web feature, which has been exploited since 2018. This vulnerability allows attackers to bypass security warnings for malicious LNK files, potentially leading to the execution of dangerous commands without user knowledge. Microsoft's security response also addresses CVE 2024-38226, a flaw in Microsoft Publisher that allows attackers to bypass macro policies, a popular vector for delivering malicious code via phishing emails. Additionally, CVE 2024-43491, related to the Windows Update Servicing Stack, reintroduced previously patched vulnerabilities, impacting older versions of Windows 10 and critical components like Active Directory and IIS. Users and businesses are urged to apply these updates immediately, especially those still running older systems, as many of these vulnerabilities have been actively exploited in the wild, posing a significant security risk. On to our next news story. Singapore authorities have arrested 6 Chinese nationals and 1 Singaporean for their alleged involvement in a global cybercrime syndicate. The syndicate is believed to have used PlugX malware, a notorious remote access Trojan linked to Chinese state-sponsored hacking groups like APT-10 and APT-41. These arrests, part of a coordinated operation on September 9th involving 160 officers from various agencies, uncovered significant cyberattack tools, stolen personal data, and over $1.3 million in cash and cryptocurrency. Let's give a round of applause to Sun Zhao, the 42-year-old who thought it was a good idea to hoard access credentials to hacker servers like they were Pokemon cards. He's probably sitting there thinking, gotta hack them all, but now he's going to be trading those credentials for ramen in prison. And the use of PlugX malware. It's the malware equivalent of a Swiss Army knife, been around since 2008 and still going strong. It's like the boomer of malware, refusing to retire while being used by advanced threat groups to spy on everyone's business. The investigation is ongoing. They're still trying to figure out if these guys are just small-time hackers or if they've been sipping tea with APT-41. Either way, it's not looking good for our cyber cowboys. Moving on, Adobe has urgently released a patch to address a critical zero-day vulnerability in its Acrobat Reader software, identified as CVE 2024-41869. This flaw, a use-after-free vulnerability, could allow attackers to execute malicious code by exploiting a specially crafted PDF. The vulnerability was first identified in June by the XPmon research platform, which flagged the bug after detecting a public proof of concept (POC) exploit. The flaw represents a serious risk, as attackers could gain unauthorized access to systems by exploiting it, particularly if users open compromised PDF files. The vulnerability allows a program to access freed memory, potentially enabling the execution of arbitrary code. For users still running unpatched versions of Adobe products, the risk remains significant, so it's vital to install the latest updates ASAP. Moving on, we have an update from the Transport of London, TfL, which was hit by a major cyber attack a few weeks ago. They have now confirmed compromising customer data, including names, emails, addresses, and sensitive financial information. The attack occurred on September 1st, leading to a significant breach impacting approximately 5,000 customers. In response, TfL has implemented enhanced security measures and confirmed that Oyster card refund details and bank information were accessed. Following the breach, a 17-year-old male has been arrested in Walsall, UK, for his alleged involvement in the attack. The suspect was arrested by the National Crime Agency and has been released on bail pending further investigation. TfL has also required in-person password resets for 30,000 employees to ensure the integrity of internal systems and prevent further damage. Despite the breach, TfL services were not directly disrupted, but internal systems have experienced ongoing issues, including the dial-a-ride service for disabled passengers. Authorities are continuing to investigate the extent of the breach and whether further individuals are involved. Moving on, Fortinet, a leading global cybersecurity company, has confirmed a significant data breach after a hacker claimed to steal 440 gigabytes of files from the company's Microsoft SharePoint server. The hacker, using the alias Fortibitch, shared credentials to an alleged S3 bucket where the stolen data was stored. Fortinet revealed that the breach affected a small number of customers via a third-party cloud-based shared file drive. While no ransomware or encryption was involved, Fortinet is actively investigating the incident. Who needs tight security when you can just shrug and say, it was only 0.3% of our customers? That's like telling passengers, only 0.3% of your luggage fell off the plane, no big deal. And let's talk about this hacker, Fortibitch. I mean, props for the name, right? It's almost like they're trolling Fortinet at this point. Of course, Fortinet's PR team is all over it, saying, "No data encryption, no ransomware, nothing to see here, folks." Yeah, sure. Except for the fact that 440 gigabyte of your stuff is now on a hacking forum like it's a Black Friday sale for cybercriminals. While no ransomware or encryption was involved, Fortinet is actively investigating the incident. Moving on, Kawasaki Motors Europe, KME, is recovering from a cyber attack that targeted its EU headquarters earlier this month. The RansomHub ransomware group has claimed responsibility, alleging they've stolen 487 gigabyte of data and are threatening to leak it if demands aren't met. KME is over here saying the attack wasn't successful, which is like getting hit by a truck and saying, "Well, I'm not dead." Sure, they isolated their servers and called in the IT cavalry, but RansomHub's out there claiming they've got 487 gigabyte of data and are setting timers like it's a Bond villain plot. Pay up or we'll dump your secrets. And let's not forget, RansomHub is basically the Walmart of ransomware gangs right now, scooping up affiliates from Black Cat, AlpAV like they're collecting trading cards. They've hit everyone from Planned Parenthood to Halliburton, and now they're shaking down Kawasaki like, yeah, add these guys to the list. Kawasaki is reassuring everyone that business operations are fine, dealerships are still running, and they're just cleansing their servers one by one. So what's Kawasaki's plan? Well, 90% of the server infrastructure is expected to be restored by next week. Great. The other 10%? Probably off riding dirt bikes into the sunset, because who needs full server capacity when you've got most of it back, right? Moving on, DNA testing giant 23andMe has agreed to a $30 million settlement following a 2023 data breach that exposed the personal information of 6.4 million customers. So, 23andMe, a company you trust with your literal DNA, just had to fork over $30 million because they let hackers waltz into their servers like it was a Black Friday sale on ancestry data. The breach resulted from a credential stuffing attack, aka they just took passwords from other breaches and tried them out like kids guessing locker combinations. And what did they find? Your genetic code, health reports, and probably a recipe for grandma's secret matzo ball soup. 23andMe has strengthened security protocols. Yeah, now they're rolling out two-factor authentication like it's a revolutionary idea in 2024. To our last story. Gearing up for the US election. The FBI and CISA have issued a public service announcement warning against disinformation about US voter registration data breaches. Malicious actors are falsely claiming that publicly accessible voter registration data is evidence of election infrastructure hacks, aiming to undermine confidence in US democratic processes. Spoiler alert, voter registration data is public, people. Just because some basement-dwelling troll reposted, it doesn't mean democracy is crumbling. The FBI and CISA are telling everyone to chill because there's zero evidence of anything messing with the actual election process. But no, some shady posts on Facebook are apparently more trustworthy. So as the elections get closer, the whole world is watching. That's it for this week's news. Which story did you find most interesting, or any story that you wish was included? Make sure you comment under. Make sure to subscribe, and I see you soon.